Not very good. If you're playing mono black, you could probably play it. It's alright. Just because, duress in constructed is not good, because a lot of times you need to rip something from their hand that first turn, because after that they have counter magic up, or they've already gone off with their combo. Whereas in limited, you can wait until you have enough swamps equal to the number of cards in their hand, and then just take the best card that they have left. So I wouldn't mind playing it in a heavy black deck. I wouldn't take it high. Take it like last few cards or whatever. But it's all right. I wouldn't think someone was a bad player for playing it. Just I generally wouldn't play it like first turn just to get a land off them or whatever random card off them. Unless I really thought I was never going to cast it, and I was just going to curve out after that and be doing stuff until turn 5, Then I might do that, make them make a hard decision. So it's fine. It's not a ridiculous card, but it works. Certainly take solid creatures over it. So, see, Nemesis Trap is really stupid against white. You can just pay double black instead of its casting cost. Otherwise, it's 6 mana. If they don't see it coming, it's a blowout. But they can play around it. I mean, it's a lot like Arrow Volley Trap, right? You're probably just going to get one creature with it a lot of the time. Sometimes your opponent won't see it, or they'll have white creatures. If they have white, they won't be able to play around it, because you just have to leave 2 black open. They won't be able to play around it well. And so then it'll just be a total blowout. So that's kind of dumb. Some of these traps are getting kind of annoying, because they're, more powerful, but only against one color. It's like, okay, rock, paper, scissors, magic. Let's roll the dice. Really stupid. But yeah, I wouldn't take it too highly. I'd take good creatures over it, but I'd take it over a solid creature. Let's see, Pulse Tracker. If you have, what's that? That feeding thing, destroy a creature, but you can only cast it if you have 2 vampires out. I never play it, so I can't remember what it's called. Urge to Feed or something? I don't know. Anyway, if you have a bunch of those, you could play this guy. But or if you have a super aggressive deck and you think you're going to get enough value out of him, if you're curving out like at 3 mana and got a bunch of Goblin Bushwhackers and stuff like that, or a bunch of equipment. I mean, he's great to pick up a piece of equipment. So I mean, he's definitely worth it if you have like 2 Adventuring Gears and a machete. So then I would play him, yeah. Because then he'll be swinging as a 3/3 that hits for an extra 1, and that's fine. Much better than playing like give a creature flying creature or whatever as a 1-drop. So, but in a lot of decks, I just wouldn't want to play him at all. So, because in the late game, you're just not going to be able to trade with a 2 toughness guy, and that's kind of crappy for using up a whole card. So you just, he'll be definitely good enough in a lot of decks, but you just have to really be careful about which decks those are, and you're not just throwing him in every deck because he's a 1-drop that swings for 2. It's not quite that simple. Quag Vampires are quite good, but you have to be heavy black. 1 black for a 1/1 swamp walk, and then +1/+1 for each time you multi-kick it. So 3 for a 2/2 swamp walk is pretty good. 5 for a 3/3, but then you're doing triple black. 7 for a 4/4, but then it's quad black. So, heavy black decks mostly, right? He's okay in only half and half decks, and I'd probably still play him a lot of the time, or most of the time. But and in the heavy black decks, I'd probably play as many as I got, because just the versatility is nice, and he's a vampire. So. Let's see, Quest for the Nihil Stone, or Nihil Stone, or whatever, Nihil Stone, whatever. It's not not limited worthy, so don't even worry about it. Someone will try and play in constructed. Um, and it might, make a splash here or there if it finds the right synergy in a deck. So, Ruthless Coldblade is pretty good filler creature, so definitely solid. Maybe even slightly above solid. You know, very good. Better than Quag Vampires, maybe? I don't know. They're probably about the same. Not as good as Jagwasp Swarm, I don't think. Bajoka Brigand. In most decks, it'll be just as good as the Brigand, if not better. Sometimes you'll play Brigand just because you want 2 for a 2/2, even though it can't block, because, hey, it's a lot better than Mindless Null, right? Anyway, so, pretty solid. Scrib Nibblers. These guys would have been a lot better if they were 2/1. As a 1/1, they're not interesting at all, and shouldn't be playing with them. Don't try and make a mill deck with a bunch of Scrib Nibblers and Crabs and Calastria, Explorer, or whatever that guy's called. Just don't do it. Stop it. Okay. Landfall, he untaps. So if there was some kind of enchantment that you could put on him to give him a cool tap ability, maybe then he'd be worth it. But there's not. So yeah. Chafe, don't play it. Shoreline Salvager. So 4 for a 3/3. Why couldn't it be like, if it's a land, they lose 1 and you gain 1? Then it would be playable. That would be pretty good. Shoreline Salvager. This guy's solid if you're not in blue, and amazing if you are. So he's a hill giant, and then if you control an island, you can draw a card whenever you deal damage to your opponent. He's a big Surikar, and yeah, I mean, if you ever make contact with this guy and you're playing islands, I mean, it's the beginning of the end for your opponent, right? You'll just get card advantage, and you'll find more ways to stop them from blocking, and etc. So, in blue-black, you can take him really highly. So, probably right after any other removal. I might still want the Ritualist over him, but anyway. Okay, and then we got Smother, which is really good. Which is the best removal? Smother or Tome Hex? I think I like Smother. I don't know, maybe I like Tome Hex more. Smother or Tome Hex? 1 less mana, probably kills more things. Yeah, I guess I'd go with Smother over it. And then Urge to Feed over either of these two. So -3/-3 anytime is probably better, at least if you're in heavy black and you have a couple vampires. And so they're all pretty good. I mean, if you see more than one in the same pack, cool, but you just have to look at your curve and your other considerations and what you can already deal with. Take the removal that deals with something that previous removal can't deal with. So, Smother, I'd probably rather have Tome Hex over Smother if I already had 2 disfigures, right? Because I can disfigure most 3 casting costs and less guys, right? But they're going to drop like some giant guy, and I'm going to want to, like a Shepherd of the Lost, right? I'm going to want to Tome Hex him or Urge to Feed him, right? Etc. So, that's usually my rule with removal. Okay, so that's black. It's still ridiculous. Don't worry about black having gotten weaker. You can still force black. It'll still be good. So, no big surprises here. Okay, so on to the next color.